Okay, my bad. Okay, so I wonder. No, I can't. That would have been pretty cool because I have my gaming monitor right here on the side. But what's up, guys? Welcome back to another video. I hope everybody's staying safe. I know the whole COVID-19 is going around and you gotta stay indoors and whatnot, thus me being inside. I remember a lot of you guys, like, look, at the end of the day, I can't tell you what you can do to your car, but what I can do is give you advice on what brands you should look at. So everybody's always asking what kind of mods I've done to my car. For some reason, nobody likes looking at the description. So description, I'm gonna put it right here on the screen. This is everything that I've done to my car performance-wise. Talking about the performance, everybody goes, hey, I just got an SI. Is there anything you recommend? Is there any parts you recommend or any specific brands and blah, blah, blah? How do I get my car faster? How do I make it better? And I've probably made this video a couple times, but like in different versions. But like this one, I'm actually gonna go in depth on what parts you should actually get or what parts is out there, if that makes sense. When it comes to the bolt-on factor, and when I mean bolt-on, like I know you can do every single thing. I know bolt-on to certain people is just intake header exhaust, or another version of bolt-on to people is everything that you can do to the car without opening up the motor and or going boost. So, you know, like intake manifold, throttle body spacer, different throttle body, bigger injectors, and you know, going more in depth with that. But to me, bolt-on is just intake header exhaust. Those are the simple mods you can do to your car. Those are the three things you can do to your car to change the sound, acceleration, and the feel. You know, so going based off of my mods, this is specifically for the 8th gen SI. Doesn't matter if it's Cooper or sedan, you know. R18s, I'm sorry, I'm not really too familiar with them. All I know is that they're good on gas. The typical bolt-on with intake header exhaust and a tune, you are gonna range from 210 to 225 wheel horsepower. Now I know 15 wheel horsepower is a difference between these four bangers, especially if you're NA. But you also have to understand each tuner is differently. Each tuner is different and each dyno reads differently. So you have your dyno packs, you have your Mustang dyno, you have your, I think I was on dynamic performance or something like that. Pretty much each dyno just reads differently, you know. Like you got your high reading dynos and you got your low reading dynos. So you might be 225 wheel, but another person that was dynoed at 212 could probably still be head to head with you when it comes to like a 40 roll or a 60 roll, you know. It all just depends on, to me, when it comes to dynoing your car, I don't go based off of numbers, I go based off of feel. So when I first got my car dynoed, I was, again, just intake header exhaust, and I was at 212. I was at 212 wheel horsepower. And I was like, dang, like really 212? And I think that was on a dyno pack too, from Dardon Tune. A lot of you guys know who this guy is. Like, he knew his stuff, you know, like, and I learned a lot from him just from that tuning session. And when I got in my car, and he even explained it to me, he goes, dude, don't look at the numbers, but look at the graph and look at where the power starts to increase, you know? So like, I had power across the entire board, and I didn't have to wait till 6,000 RPMs to get all my power. I was able to get it a little bit sooner, which made a huge difference. My friend Victor, he drives an FRS. He got in my car he was with me when we got the tune, and he was like, dude, this is a huge difference from like first to second gear pull. It was amazing, you know? So just remember, after everything that you get, people say a tune isn't required, but you know what, like, I'm gonna go ahead and say it, and I don't care if I get flame lighted or not. A tune, I highly recommend it. You know, you can't have all these parts done to your car and then expect to have like a magical fairy come in and go boom, okay, you're a little bit faster now. You will be slightly faster, but sometimes the ECU to each car may not be able to recognize the air-free ratio and might even make your car run either too rich or run too lean, thus making you need to get a tune, you know. But right here, I'm looking at the list right now, my mods. Hondata Flash Pro, I'm tuned by HiRev Motorsports. I'm 220 wheel horsepower and 163 wheel torque. I have a Skunk 2 cold air intake, 2008 TSX Cams, 1320 Catless race header, full race cat bag exhaust, Exedy stage 1 clutch and Exedy light flywheel, I have an engine torque damper. I also have a 70A rear motor mount. Those are just the performance parts from the engine. I'm not even going to read the bottom parts, that's more suspension. If you guys want to read it, go ahead. It's not, the header is going to make the biggest difference when it comes to making power, because it is the most restricted part of the entire car. A lot of people make decent power with just a stock intake, dude, and a stock exhaust, but if they switch out the cat and put a catless header in there, dude, it is great. And remember, it's a header, not headers. We only have one, so whenever you say I'm looking for headers, I'm going to assume that you have like a V6 or a V8 or something in that category. For the header on our car, there's a couple of them out there. I know you have PML, 1320, and obviously Skunk 2. I think there's an NVIDIA one too out there, I'm not sure. But you have a good variety of parts for the 8th gen. Now when it comes to the header, honestly, if you just want the most bang for your buck, Skunk 2. Like, I had the Skunk 2 alpha header before. This was before I was even tuned. This was before I even had an exhaust. This was before I even had, no, I did have an exhaust. I have the Skunk 2 exhaust. And this was before I had an intake. Because when I first got the car, it came with a Skunk 2 exhaust. And then I was like, you know what, I'm gonna pair it up with the header. Dude, this header sounded amazing. This header sounded amazing. It was aggressive, it was loud. It changed the car completely with the sound of the exhaust, and just, it felt great, especially when you opened it up at VTEC. But because I live in California, I was a little scared about it. And I said, you know what, I'm gonna go back. I don't wanna get caught, and I don't wanna get state rep and blah, 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 and whatnot. So I ended up going back to regular header. After that, I did my research, and a lot of people said, you know what, try out the 1320 header. You know, it comes with a high flow cat, and it also comes with a catless test pipe. So I was like, you know what, I'm gonna go ahead and try it. And I think it was like maybe 300, like 20 bucks around right there, maybe a little less. Comparing that to the Skunk 2, the Skunk 2 was a lot better in sound quality and performance, like even without the tune. Like, I couldn't really tell you that off the back of my hand, but I was really scared about being catless, and I was like, you know what, nah, like, I'm gonna stick with the high flow. You didn't really smell it anymore, and you didn't really smell the fumes and whatnot. I was happy with it. I was really content with it. You have the 1320 race header. Now the funny thing is now I'm catless. Like, I probably should have just stuck in with the Skunk 2 header. There's nothing wrong going with the 1320 race header, but the funny thing is, I first started with a high flow cat, and then eventually I was like, you know what, I'm gonna go with the catless. I want to get just a little bit more oomph, and it didn't really change the performance, just more of the sound, you know, because now it was really restricting. It's just a straight pipe all the way to the back, pretty much. So in the long run, for the header, I recommend the Skunk 2 alpha header, just because it's the best bang for your buck. And and a lot of people sell them used here in Cali. If you guys are scared of being pulled over and whatnot, I'm not gonna tell you that you shouldn't be scared, but what I am gonna tell you is, I've been driving carefully around cops, I've been driving careful on the streets, and I haven't had a reason to get pulled over in my car. I haven't even gotten, I've never gotten questioned by a cop if my car is legal or not. Why? Because I'm quiet with it, and I'm really subtle, and that's gonna come to the next thing, the exhaust. Now the catback exhaust is gonna play a factor in it, obviously with the sound, but I mean, this is like, how much are you gonna stick out, you know? I've talked about countless exhausts on this channel, because I probably went through 5 different ones, and within like 2 years. Yeah, I know, that's a lot. So when I first got the car, I had the Skunk 2 exhaust. I think it was the 70mm one, it wasn't the 76. And then I said, this is way too loud, it's too drony, I needed to get rid of it. I went back to stock, and then from stock I went to a NVIDIA Q300, which was amazing. But then I said, you know what, I need it a little bit louder, like, it's too quiet now. So from there I went to a custom one, where all I did was cut off the NVIDIA muffler and put on just a regular, a different styled muffler on there that made it sound a lot louder, you know. I just went to a custom muffler shop. And then I said, you know what, this is sounding really drony again, or it just doesn't sound right. It sounds a little too rice, to be honest. And I said, you know what, I'm gonna look for another exhaust. After this, my mind was set on the full race exhaust, and it is the best of both worlds. It's quiet, it's subtle, and it's also loud at open throttle, and you hear the engine when you're at open throttle. Some people prefer the NVIDIA over the full race, but because I've had the NVIDIA Q300, comparing it to the full race hands down is a lot better, and it's also a 3-inch exhaust. So if you ever decide to go boost or build motor in the future, you're gonna get the full benefit of the exhaust because it's already a 76mm. So for the exhaust, I recommend full race catback exhaust. I think these ones new range from like 500 to 600, unfortunately, but you could also find them used. Now, I know for a sedan, it's a lot easier to find parts for a sedan than it is a coupe. I got lucky. One of you guys reached out to me and said, hey, I know you're looking for an exhaust. He sent me a link on OfferUp, that app OfferUp, and this guy was like maybe 2-3 hours away from here, but we set up a deal, we set up a game plan, and I went to go pick it up, and I got myself an exhaust for like 300 bucks. You know, maybe actually a little less. I think it was like 250. I don't remember. Victor went with me, and I fell in love with this exhaust, and it was used. So if I ever happen to get another K20 or another K series car, I'm gonna get a full race exhaust. This is like hands down the best exhaust I've ever had and experienced with these cars. So far your header, you're gonna want to go with the Skunk 2. So far your exhaust, I'm gonna go ahead and recommend the full race exhaust. Now we're gonna go with the intake. Now the intake, just like any of the other parts, this is gonna be more of a preference. Now the reason why I have a Skunk 2 cold air intake is because I bought it new, but I bought it at a ridiculously cheap price. I want to say about 2.5, maybe 3 years ago. And the reason why I went with it is because they had a freaking stupid sale. Like, I follow Skunk 2 on Instagram, and I think this intake ranges from 320 to like 340, 350, right there. Like 40 or 45% off. I got it, I kid you not, for like 200 bucks, brand new, like out the door shipped. And the reason why I got it like that was because I follow them on Instagram, and they had a sale that was like 20% off the first 20 people that like hop on here and use this code, first 20, whatever it is. So I jumped on, and I also remembered I had another coupon that was like another 20% for the Black Friday sale. So I was like, you know what? I got 40, I think it was like 40% off. Yeah, it was 40% off. So I got this for like maybe like 180 or 200 bucks. I don't, somewhere around there shipped. And I was like, dude, this is great, you know. Did the whole installation and the intake. I had a short ram on it before, and going from a stock airbox to a short ram intake, dude, it makes the car like sound really aggressive. But when you go to a cold air intake, dude, it's the way to go. Now with the cold air intakes, you also have hybrid racing, which is a really popular one, but I wasn't a big fan of having the battery relocated all the way down where the coolant reservoir was. Like I'm stuttering a lot. You relocate the battery on both intakes, actually 3, because we also have K-tuned out there. K-tune has a intake, I think that one's a hybrid intake, and what I mean hybrid is you can go from long to short, from a short ram intake to a cold air intake, but I heard that that's really hard to come by. Hybrid racing intake, I heard a lot of other people that have it love it because it has a velocity stack in it, and when it comes to hydrolocking your car and blah blah blah. Look guys, you're not gonna hydrolock your car unless you are submerged in water and you're revving the shit out of your engine, you know? So, which means the intake is over a puddle and you're revving it, which is sucking air in to the engine. That's one of the main reasons why people hydrolock the car. When I drive my car in the rain, I am really careful. As a matter of fact, I avoid roads because I know which roads get overfilled with water, and I know which roads are empty and blah blah blah. Like, once you know your city and where you're going, you're gonna be fine. Plus, if you also have your splash shields and your wheel well shield, I think that's what it's called, you're gonna be fine, you know. And I also bought a hydro shield, which people are saying it protects the intake from the rain. I personally haven't had an experience with this before, but I'm going to be installing this on the car soon. I'm not really going to do a video of it because it's just, boom, you just put it on there. But I mean, if I see any difference, if I see like Like, I'll let you guys know what I think about it. But I'm gonna be installing that on my car on the intake after I clean it. And the thing about Skunk 2, your hybrid intake, 1320 header, your K-tuned header, I think they have a header as well, you know, exhaust, NVIDIA 300, NVIDIA N1, Skunk 270 or Skunk 276, full race exhaust, Apexy, what else is there? I think it's like XLR3 thermal, the thermal exhaust. I want to say that one's, if not the same as the full race, is what people are saying. So like, you have a really good variety out there, you know. And the last thing you need to add to your list is Hondata. A lot of people are saying K-Tune is great, but Hondata for the 8th gen is probably it's going to be more superior for it. There's more options, you can do more to it, and a lot of tuners here that tune your car. So when it comes to getting your car tuned, just look online, you know, look on the pages. If you guys have questions on it, or I get majority of my parts, where I get majority of my questions answered, and when I actually get questions answered that I didn't even know I had a question for, was the 8th gen page on Facebook. I am usually on this and I'm just reading, and people post their rides, people post their questions, people post cars for parts for sale, cars for sale, what they're looking for, and everything else in between. And if you just use the search engine, you'll be able to find a lot of questions out there. When it comes down to that, I always go on the 8th gen page. There's like a lot of them out there that I'm following, and I met a lot of people. I learned a lot from there, and that's how I got my car to how it's at right now, you know. As a matter of fact, I bought my TSX Cams from there. Highly recommend you guys do some research and look at these parts and look what you want to do to them. Some of you guys, if you're hesitant on doing something to your car, just don't do it. You know, wait until you really need to, because that's one thing that I learned. Try to do it right the first time. I did the mistake of rebuying parts plenty of times, and for everybody that's scared about California and getting it smog and whatnot, look, you got two options. You either convert your car back to stock, or you find a place that can help, that will help you out, if that makes sense. Those are the only two options here. You cannot pass smog with a header, with a Catless header on the car. You know, it's just not, you're just not gonna do it. They're not gonna pass you. So you either have to convert your car back to stock completely, or you find a special spot. Oh, and just let me show you guys something real quick, off topic. Now, like, I had a Triforce tattoo on it. Now I have that right there. I'm pretty happy. I got that done last Friday. It's Monday now, and I did it for my birthday. I turned 27 last Saturday, so it's been really crazy with everything going on. You know, nobody wants to go out, nobody wants to do anything. So I've just been indoors with my girlfriend, with my dog, and we're just enjoying a staycation, I guess you can say. So, but yeah, guys. So, I know this video was a little bit unorganized. I did my best to try to get some information out there for you guys for this, and I'm gonna be doing another video with my sister because you guys actually really enjoyed that one. What we're gonna do, I don't know. She says she does want to drive it around again, so I'm gonna try to get her more familiar with the car. That way she can drive it out a little bit more, you know. So to all of you saying what should I do to my car, this is a video that I recommend you watching if you're trying to do any performance wise. But at the end of the day, it's your car. I cannot tell you what you should do to your car. You know, if you say, oh, I want to get my car to look like yours, then by all means do it, but you should make it to your own. You should build your car to fit your personality. You should build your car to fulfill your needs, not somebody else's, you know. So if somebody doesn't like it, then tough, you know. If you like it and they don't, it is what it is. So I will see you guys in another video. You guys have a good day. Peace. Why does it